Hey everyone, this is for discussion board 3, the digital divide. The digital divide is a gap between those who have access to technology and those who do not. So the first question is, why is bridging the digital divide important to education in the United States and worldwide? Education with today's technology, it's increasingly a lot. It's astonishing of how fast it's increasing, how many different ways technology is being used. After viewing some of the videos that were provided in the modules, it's true. We have a ton of technology, a ton of resources to use to make things easier for us, like farming or printing paper. And then we go into these second or third world countries, and they're doing everything by hand. They're still back in that olden days of how they do everything, on their own, without help, without technology. And it takes them longer. It takes them days, if not weeks or months, to complete something. Whereas we have technology here in the United States, and it gets us done within a couple hours or even a day. So it's really important, and it's crazy to know how much easy we have it compared to them. Everything's basically done for us through technologies and systems and everything like that. And then, to look at them, and, they're doing everything by hand. They're not, how do you say, they're not up to date with everything. And, they can't afford it, so it's not their fault. I think education is important. Technology in education is important because, like I said, technology is increasing at an astonishing rate, and for teachers to be able to teach our students that, they need to learn how to do it, because in the future, who knows what other technology or resources are going to become available, and eventually it's going to be required to know some technology skills, computer skills, resources that are on the computer. So it's very important. I'm not going to lie, at the beginning I wasn't too keen of technology in my classroom for my students. My students' ages range from 3 to 5 years old. I wasn't too fond of it because, when these kids go home, I can go out, go grocery shopping, or, sit at the DMV, and there's kids on their phones, on their tablets, on anything, and they're like this, glued to the screen. And I don't like that, because I feel like they're on the screen way too much rather than exploring the outside world. Go outside and play, play with the dirt, or go explore what that does and why it does it. You know what I mean? That's how we were born, how we were raised, and just to see these kids just sitting on their couches inside their rooms all day long is just, I wasn't a fan of that. But after taking a few of the technology classes and this class, I realized how important technology is to these students, how it is important in education. At the beginning, I think maybe it was 2 years ago, at the beginning of the school year, our bosses had told us that the students were allowed 20 minutes of screen time per week. So that's, we go to school for 4 days, so that's about 5 minutes a day. And I don't think that's enough for the students. I think, they still need to have at least 15 minutes on the screen to explore the technology, explore the resources that we provide for them, and, get used to it. In our classroom, I have a smart board. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, but when it did work, I would have the students, we could do our nursery rhymes, our shapes, our colors, our numbers, our letters, everything, and it was really cool. It was neat because I could allow the students to go up to the smart board, and they can draw, hey, this is a circle, or this is a number 5, or the letter E, and they were able to do it and interact with that, and they loved it because they were getting to do something. And then it was a smart board, so they had a blast. Like, they thought they were amazing because they got to go right on the smart board. So it was really neat, and it got them interactive. I didn't have to redirect them, hey, come back, pay attention, instead of me, orally giving them an instruction. They were on the board doing it themselves. And that's what I like. I like for them to do hands-on things. I like them to incorporate their own thing. We also have a smart table. It's like it's really huge table, like a tablet. So we can have like 4 students on there at a time, and they can play all these different kinds of games, and it's through Hatch. So it's strictly Hatch educational games. They can't get onto YouTube or anything like that, the internet. And then we have 2 smaller individual tablets as well. So I try to give them at least 10 minutes a day of doing those electronics. Also, I found that it was really helpful to use the smartboard and, technology like the iPads and everything. I would take my own iPad to work and show them, like, hey, let's pick up a leaf, let's take a picture of it, and there's an app that tells you it tells you all about the leaf. Or you could take a picture of the bug and it tells you all about the bug, what it is, where it came from, where it originated, the color, what it does, is it harmful, so it was really neat, and the kids really enjoyed it. They loved it. So, I think it's very important to have technology and education in today's society. The second one, as an educator, how can you ensure technology is being used in your classroom to improve teaching and learning rather than just including it for technology's sake? So, in other words, ensuring it is being used to support your pedagogy of teaching rather than just having it present so you can say it's present. So, at the beginning, that's how I was. I was just using it to say, hey, I have technology in my classroom. But no, now I'm incorporating it into my lesson plan almost daily. It's important. Like I said, it's very important. When our kids get older, they're going to have to learn how to use a computer, how to type, how to use Excel, how to use all these different resources that they're making to use in their jobs, in their professions, their careers. So one way that I can ensure that technology is being used in my classroom to improve it is, just incorporate it every day. Have the kids get into it. Have them be a part of the technology. Have them do it on their own. Don't do it for them, because that's just like we're teaching them orally. And yes, we need to teach them orally so they can get used to it as well. But we have technology, we have resources. We can have the kids go up and do it on their own. We can have the kids take pictures of the bugs. We can have the other kids, write down or on the iPad and draw on it, hey, this is what the bug looked like. This is what I saw. It had 3 dots on its back. There's so much learning in technology. So, that's the way I can use it in my classroom, is to let the kids do it on their own. Kind of like guide them, like the child-based learning is where they do it on their own, and the teachers are just to guide them, to make sure they're doing it okay, to make sure they don't need any help along the way. Question 3, how can educators use technology to prepare students for 21st century challenges? Just like that, the teacher from one of the videos, Wolfork or something like that, I'm not sure, he uses his technology in the classroom by one of the ways was Skyping with another student. She was talking about England, so I thought that was pretty cool. They're not only using the technology, but they're also communicating with other students across the world. How are they doing it? What do they spend their summers in? It had all the students there, and that was interesting to them. So they were keeping occupied with what they were learning, and at the same time, they were learning how to use technology. They were learning how to communicate with other people on a different side of the world. So I thought that was really neat. And then, also, as he said, one of the detrimentals of technology in the classroom is it's hard to monitor it, and it is. Kids, they're also learning how to use things on their own. They're learning how to, you can bully on social media. You can cyberbully. You can do all kinds of things. Like he said, they can even bully the teachers if they're not closely paying attention to them. They can go off of what we're doing. And even some of the iPads and the tablets, they have parental controls, but still the kids can bypass that and do whatever they want. They can get on YouTube and, look up videos they're not supposed to. So I think, keeping them locked away and only using it for what they need to at the time and closely monitoring the students is very important, especially for the older kids. So, one of the ways that the educators can use technology, I think they need to incorporate it into the lesson almost daily, if at least 3 times a week. It's very important because, like I keep saying, they're gonna need it for when they get older, for when their careers, everything's going on computers now. They're not keeping it stored away in files. It's all stored on the computer. So they need to learn how to work through the computers. They need to learn how to work through the different resources that the computers offer, and